welcome to the sit down talk. We don't have a name for these joints, we just kind of do them. Noemi and I were having a lot of different conversations like in the last 2 weeks, and one of the reoccurring conversations that we've been having is around what life after marriage looks like, because it's different for us in some ways. It really is different. Listen, whatever you think marriage looks like,
it's not it.
That's not what it is. I promise you. I promise you. I'm keeping it 1,000 a day, man. I don't feel the need to hold back no punches.
Yeah.
So Noemi has this impeccable skill where she doesn't mind annoying people. She doesn't like to be annoying, but her justification in her head is for a good reason, which makes it okay to her, but only her. I don't care what your reason is. If you're annoying me, I want you to stop.
I feel like there are many times that I want to talk to you and you don't feel like being bothered, so I leave. And you be like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "It's fine."
But that's the guilt thing, because I'm like, dang, she want to spend time with me, but I don't feel like being bothered.
I recognize it, and it's like, oh, he doesn't want to spend time with me, but it doesn't ruin my day. Like,
it's your face though.
I'm sure in the 5-minute conversation we had, I probably had a really sad puppy dog face, but that's just, I don't know, like, that's not how I feel.
A lot of guys that I talk to, when it comes to their wives or girlfriends, like, when women ask, why don't men like to talk? Men don't like to have the language. It's the emotional reaction.
Yeah.
No man wants to deal with that emotional reaction.
The emotional reaction looks bad than it really is in my head. Like, it's just like, it might be bad, but it's short. It's like, oh, he don't want to hang out with me. And it's like, fuck him. All right, I'm gonna go upstairs and watch YouTube. Him not spending time with me, yeah, it blows me sometimes. But like, I will never go to him with that same energy, because I know that you'll blame yourself, and I know that you'll just go into like,
I'm a shitty husband.
Yeah, and he would. Why make him feel worse than he already does when I don't even feel that bad about it? You know what I mean? So I think like, these are just
okay, no way. Okay,
I'm learning.
I like it.
It's just really important to understand not only like how your partner communicates, but like, what are the most effective ways of communicating to your partner? Because his mental health is just important as mine is, because I gotta deal with you. I gotta deal with you on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm in the business of making him feel bad,
say that again.
I don't know what I said.
Look at the camera and tell the people what you just said. You said that you care about me.
Yes. His mental health is just as important as mine is.
I don't have a ton of male followers, but
I don't know what I just did.
This is what you want. She cares about my mental health, not just the way it affects her.
Yeah, that's something that I know that
See,
I
now I want to be close. I know I
I
matter. What's one thing you learned from the advice that you've gotten from people since you've been married, be it good, bad, or indifferent?
One thing I learned is don't follow it. That's what I learned. Like, go through your process. You chose it. Y'all are engaged. Y'all are in this situation for a reason. Whatever got you there, got you there. Learn through your own process.
To summarize that was easy for you.
Exactly.
When you say like, don't take other people's marriage advice, the way I receive that is like, take from it what's useful, throw away what's not.
But you don't know.
But you can't.
You don't know what's useful and what's not until you go through your own situation. You're like, oh yeah, such and such was right about that, but such and such didn't know what the hell she was talking about.
It's funny because I'm hesitant to tell people like, don't listen to marriage advice, but on the same token, I don't listen to nobody's advice.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Nah, like what? Shut up.
Before we got married, I was like, communicate. Some things don't need to be said. I think you can over communicate, and I think like,
and over communication is just as damaging as under communication.
And I think we got to that point shortly before the wedding.
Can you break down what over communication may mean to some people who wouldn't know?
Over communication in this context is like emotionally dumping on your partner. And it's like, you made me feel this, you made me feel this. And it's just like sometimes
the machine gun just.
Well, I say all of that to say there was a lot of over communicating on both of our parts. I do truly believe we communicate very well, but like sometimes we just can't. And it's okay.
And it's fine.
It's totally
like,
fine.
bro, you can't wake up every morning thinking that you're going to be a 10 at every content area that involves the things you got to do in your life. You know, I think it's unfair for you to extend yourself in every which way possible and still expect to have something at the end of the day. Like, how you gonna drive on that car for 2 weeks, never fill it up, and expect it to still go?
Real.
That don't make sense. But we do it. We do it out of guilt and unrealistic expectations that society has thrown, and I'm preaching, I'm gonna let it go.
But I'm gonna just on a tangent.
I feel some kind of way. I told y'all.
We don't have much time.
Okay. So let's talk about come on, try to be serious. So one area that I realized that things were changing for the both of us was with our friendships.
Yeah. What changed for you?
For me, my married friends versus my not married friends, my friends who are dads versus my friends who aren't, and the amount of time I spend with those different groups of people, I feel like, our friendships are different. And there's some events where I can invite everybody, but there's some events where I just need like my friends who are dads to slide through, because I need to vent to a group of people that I understand from like a real place, you know what I'm saying?
Not real. I actually really struggle with that. I have like specific groups of friends just from moving here. So like when I moved here, I went straight to law school. So a lot of my friends are like in that same space. And like once I started to get to know more people that were married or more people who had children, and then started to like that friend group just felt different. And I think there was a time where like I needed that more. I needed that support and I needed that guidance more. And with that comes guilt, because you're not spending the same time with the friends that you used to spend time with when you were single.
And those friendships look different. And the things that keep them together look different. And it all feels very unfamiliar.
Exactly. You know what? I'm overwhelmed being a mom and being a wife. I need to go talk to someone who is also a mom and a wife to talk shit to. You know what I mean? And I think that's why this momcation, this little trip that I took, was so important, because I had
y'all gotta stop putting mom in front of everything.
Stop.
Like, y'all gotta
she's
stop.
Just a hater.
Like mom,
like dadcation is not popping.
We would never.
Momcation
that
is popping.
No sense.
Look it up on a hashtag. You're gonna get your life.
Women make a lot of hashtags.
Just a hater.
Momcation.
Hater. And when I tell you, like, I got my life. I got my entire life, and it's like I was able to vent and just talk and share with women that were going through the exact same thing that I was going through. And I think for a really long time, because these weren't necessarily the people that I hung out with all the time, I felt guilty. Like, here I am going on a vacation with you, but I ain't going on vacation with my friends. I talk to my other friends
that I talk to on a daily basis.
That I talk to every single day. They fill my cup in a different way. And I needed that. I needed that right then and there.
For a man, it is very important for your wife or girlfriend to have friends, and multiple friends that she can go to for different places, because a dude who has a girl who doesn't have friends, she leans on him too hard for all those little pieces in a friendship, and it strains your relationship something crazy. I know too many marriages that have been stressed because of that.
That's also a lot of pressure. So you have pressure to be the provider, to be the husband, and to be the best friend all the time.
And imagine if you don't perform on that pressure. Now you're not meeting expectations.
Now you ain't shit. Now you're a shitty husband.
Shitty husband.
For a job that you ain't even apply for.
And I don't want to take any steam away from friendships of old. I think,
no.
You know, we live in this world where people don't believe you could do two opposite things at once. Like,
you can't have two best friends.
What you got? Salt or sugar in your grits?
Yeah,
like that. Well, I would say the sugar and the grits is that's nasty.
Yeah.
You can still have your old friends and have them fill your cup in a very different way than your new friends, while not alienating either side. The tough part for me is when I host an event. And it's like this one, so I host an event and all my dad, husband friends are there. And my single friends are like, oh, damn, bro. Had to kick back. And it's like, my bad, Holmes.
You shouldn't feel guilty about that.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
But I do. Because you feel like you're leaving people who you love out of something that's important to you.
Yep.
But then they come to those events and the husbands and dads
and it's cliquish. And
it's like, that's why I ain't invite y'all. Because y'all don't.
You have to make sure you spend more like quality one-on-one time with those groups. Like, if the only time you hang out with your friends is when they're all together and they're in cliques, like maybe that's not the best way to handle it.
That's not gonna work.
And I learned that the hard way.
I feel like friendships and romantic relationships are very close cousins. Like,
I agree.
It's almost the same thing. No, it's almost the same thing. Even with men. And I know that's really uncomfortable because of the way masculinity works. I'm 4 billion% secure in my masculinity. I'll tell you, like, as a man, you got to take care of your male friends too.
We say a lot of taking care of our friendships, so make sure your friendships are taking care of you. If it's more work and if it's more stress and if it's like you're uncomfortable in your friendship because of the way that things have changed, it's okay for that to not be okay.
But you got to be an adult about it. Don't just fall off from your friends or make up some ridiculous scenario in your head. Oh, they don't support me anymore. How many times have you seen on Facebook posts, real friends switch up or friends like, switch up, don't trust people.
Leave everybody behind.
Whenever people post that, you're the issue. Yeah. You're the problem. If you ever posted that status before, it's your fault. Yeah. You're the problem.
But it's okay. It's not too late to fix it.
Yeah, it's cool. We all been a problem before. I think it's also important that married people remember that your life has changed a lot. Like what you spoke to was meeting your friendships where they at. If when I met you, we were partying and drinking and smoking weed, and now I gotta be at work at 5 a.m. so I gotta go to bed at 8, and I got this family to take care of, so my life looks different. We gotta meet each other in the middle. Man, when you become married, you're not as fun as your friends no more.
I'm not fun. I'm corny as hell. I know what you're thinking. He was gonna say, I've always been corny. You see, I know him. I know you well.
Oh no, my hoodie failed me. I was supposed to do this. There you go. No.
I will turn this camera off. All right, we're done.
Come back. I also feel like the marriage thing is alienating to some people. Like, I can understand if I'm a single person while being in this environment would feel alienating. I can totally see that.
I agree with that, but like to me, I know this sounds really like mean, but it's like, so what? It's the same thing with the Greek life. I'm not Greek. And Greek life can seem really alienating. We go to a club and it's all the Greek stuff. I don't know what's going on. Of course I feel alienated, but that's okay. Because you're not a part of it.
That's where I think you're not the norm. I think that you are the, what do you call it? Not misnomer.
The exception.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
If you need to spend time with your frat brothers, your married friends, your sorority sisters, your homegirls from college, and that's what fills your cup from that moment, it's okay to do that. Yeah. All I'm saying is to make sure you make time for everybody that makes time for you.
Facts. And you know what? Even for people that don't make time for you, to your point, I think it'd be a great idea for you to reach out to them, check their temperature, see what's going on, because sometimes the problem just may be you, and you may not even know.
Exactly.
Give yourself an opportunity to learn what's going on and fix it. I don't find nothing wrong with that. Oh my God, are we giving marriage advice?
Oh shit.
No, we're gonna have to delete this whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's flip it. Instead of saying what you need to do, let's just talk about what works for us.
Yeah.
Do you feel like things are different since we got married?
That's a broad ass question. Like,
okay.
Get a little bit more specific.
Does life feel different in terms of like just our connection, our chemistry, and how we manage each other? Does life feel different post marriage than it did before?
Yeah, for sure. It's like a level of comfort and security that happened almost immediately.
Interesting.
I don't have to have my overnight bag in the car. Like, I'm home. You know what I mean? Like,
that's strange to me because we've been living together now for 2 years.
It does. I'm not saying that it makes sense.
You're just saying that it feels.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that it's rational. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you how it felt, and I'm still trying to figure out why I feel that way. But I do.
I don't. It feels almost the exact same.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. I think. Oh, I'm gonna get killed for this.
Oh Lord, what you about to say?
So there are a lot of like male family vloggers, and like they're very rah marriage is dope. Like you got some guys who are very deeply religious and practice celibacy before they got married, and they're like, you know, my wife is my everything, marriage is dope. And then some guys who got married very young and like my wife is everything, marriage is dope, just because they came into that understanding in a very different way. I'm not a marriage is dope person.
He never wanted to get married.
Well, not only that, I don't think that marriage by itself, the institution, is dope. I think that marriage can be dope under the right circumstances, if you're with the right person and you guys have the capability and the bandwidth to grow together.
Damn, that's a lot of words, but that shit is real.
Yeah.
I think we gotta get out of saying what marriage is and what isn't, and
talk about
you, what it is for you, because you preach it.
Okay, you right. You right. I will say one way that it does feel different. I see the level of dedication that we have to each other.
Yeah.
That feels different.
Yeah.
But the day to day doesn't, and the feelings toward you don't.
Right.
But the long term vision is a little bit more there, because I know for sure that we have a tether to each other.
Yes. So I know you said that you feel completely different. I think we feel the same. We just expressed it differently.
Yeah.
You said something about how the day to day doesn't feel different, but like we're tied to each other.
I can feel it. I can feel the tether.
That's what I feel. I don't feel like we woke up, we're married, and things are different. It's just like you look back and you're like,
life's amazing now.
No, I know that marriage was different for the both of us. And I know that like you had to take a much bigger leap to do this than I did, and I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you acknowledging that. It's the road to get here wasn't the same, and I think we need to talk about that on another vlog episode. Perhaps.
Yes, for sure.
I think the way that we approach relationships, it doesn't make sense. It's like once you get into a marriage or a relationship, your life before that didn't exist. Your romantic relationships before that didn't exist. The person that you were before that didn't exist. That don't make sense. Every relationship that you've been in before you met me, they help build who you are now. Why should you not be able to talk about you loving and even sometimes missing those people just because I'm here? That don't make sense, dog.
That is not what a lot of people are on, man.
Nah.
Like, I've dated men who may not be as open as you are, but I think it just depends on who you're with, and you got to figure out what that looks like for your marriage. And for us, we just happen to be really comfortable with that. And I really appreciate it. Because sometimes it'll be like, I was thinking about this one time, and I can talk to him about it, and it's fine.
Do you know how liberating it is to be able to have a memory of somebody from the past and be able to talk to your spouse about it? But like, hey man, I was just thinking about such and such. We talked about one of my ex-girls from like 10 years ago.
And I told him, like, you need to reach out.
Yeah, she told me that I need to reach out to her. Like, she suggested that. The way that I broke up with her, I'm just now starting to realize that I did that completely wrong. Yeah. And I think I justified that in my head for a long time, because she did some stuff too. You know,
every relationship has its issues.
But regardless of what somebody does to you, it doesn't justify you cutting it off with somebody in a very harsh or insensitive way. And I think I did it in one of the most harsh and insensitive ways that one can do it.
I agree.
Yeah, and I regret that, man. But, you know, what's my regret if I don't share that with her? Because I don't know where she's at with it. And I'm fortunate enough to have a woman who's very secure in herself, who not only isn't insecure by that notion, but is like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. You need me to help you to figure out what to say? Like, I got you.
I want my husband to be a good person. And I'm not afraid to say, that was really fucked up. Like,
most of being a good man is just being a good person.
And I think that, like, I don't want you to just be a good person for me and for my family. Like, I want you to be a good person, period. Like, you and I are tied, and I'm a true believer in karma. Like, that shit might come back to me. I don't want that shit to come back to me.
I was just about to give you kudos. Like, that was so unselfish.
But it is, a part of it is selfish.
A lot of people think just because they've grown from their past behaviors, like, that somehow exonerates them from the things that they did in the past. Like, nah, bro, you still got it. If a hole is a hole, if you create a hole, you got to patch it up. I don't care if you've grown from it and moved past it. You don't have to apologize to... My strain just attacked me.
Why are we yelling?
I don't know. We on our Meek Mill today, using our outside voices. You want to close out?
So, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you know anytime that we have new videos posted as soon as they post. How did I do?
You did a fantastic
Thank
job.
you.
The baby's taking a nap. Do the snap.